During a high school class project, my teacher told me it's unrealistic being a CEO. It's been my dream to be a CEO since I was 10. So I told her, it is realistic. Follow me on my journey to learn what it takes to become a CEO. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Realistic CEO podcast. Today I'm here with Michael Treble. How you doing today, Michael?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for coming on. I appreciate you
for
allowing me to interview. So thank you for that.
Thank you for coming. I appreciate it.
Can you tell us a little about what you do here at Valley Communications?
Sure. So at Valley Communications, I'm the Chief Executive Officer. I've been here for a little over 13 years now, and I've held many different roles. But a lot of, what I do is, both human related and process related. Mm-hmm. So I do a little bit of all the, we call it the soft stuff. So anything that deals with, human resources or just managing our people on a day-to-day basis. But then we also look at what we do from an operational standpoint. I also have a component of my job that's sales related and strategic as well. So I look at the strategic plan for our company, how we're going to grow, how we're going to change in, the current calendar year, but also in future and subsequent years. I also have a sales component and a business development component where I'm out in the field speaking with our end users, with our clients and partners, and making sure that we have strong and firm relationships with them and making sure that we're delivering the best quality of service that we are able to with them as well.
Can you tell us a little about your journey, how you got to where you are today?
Sure. So Valley Communications, I guess we'll start way, way back 80 years ago when we were founded. My grandmother actually was able to found this company in 1945. And my grandfather at the time was an ice delivery man in Chicopee. And he was also a projectionist. And my grandmother took out a loan from him. And they were able to then grow this company slowly through the years, through the 40s, the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, and to today. We've had to change and evolve and really grow as a technology integration company because technology is changing so quickly. How I got here, one, there's certainly that family component, being a fourth generation leader of this company. Never saw myself actually in this role until probably the early 2010s when I came back to Valley Communications from a previous career that I had. I was originally a strength and conditioning coach, graduated from Springfield College, and many Springfield College graduates obviously go on to do great things, specifically in the physical realm, whether it's physical education, as coaches, on coaching staffs, and specifically in the exercise physiology world. So I was fortunate enough to work with a lot of different collegiate and professional teams and collegiate and professional athletes through my career. And there just came a time where I was ready to have a more stable way of life, I guess, and have something where I was traveling a little bit less, come back to Western Mass where my roots were and are, and really a place, that I love. I grew up in this area and I wanted to come back here and raise my family here. So that's what brought me all the way to Valley.
You kind of talked about how you didn't really see yourself like being in this position, but it kind of just happened.
It did. Yeah. So I saw myself as a coach for a very long time, and, life just changes and people's careers change. I think one factor that was consistent in all of it that remains for me has been the networking side and that piece. As a coach, it's important that you network yourself. You're your own. In a lot of ways, you're your own CEO, you're your own boss because you're managing this as either an independent contractor or you're coming into part of a team or part of a team's staff. Mm-hmm. And you, at that point, obviously have leadership above you, but you really have to manage your own personal brand very effectively in that world. So that was that kind of networking route. And then I started to get a little bit more business acumen and understanding. And as I did, I said, coming back to Western Massachusetts, I'm coming into this family business where I started off as a sales contributor and really learning how to do that. And you're building this network. And from there, I really just was able to parlay that into, more and more responsibility through the company, growing through the different ranks and kind of figuring out as I go. And it turns out that I actually do love this.
As somebody I've recently been working on selling a lot. I've been struggling. Honestly, it's what is some advice that you could give to me on how I can improve in selling?
Sure. Honesty. I mean, that's the number one thing for me is we try to be as transparent as possible as a company for our sales team and everything else. while we are a technology integrator, we're not always trying to sell the technology. It's not all about the product that we sell. We try to be a solutions provider. So we ask, hey, what is the business case? What's the advantage for me coming in here? What advantage am I going to give to you as an end user or as a potential partner that I can help your business grow, or that I can help your classroom be more effective, or whatever we're doing in that particular time? And really for us, that's the most important thing in selling, is that we're making a business case, we're showing a return on that initial investment, and we're developing a long-term relationship and a partnership with the people that we work with, instead of just a transactional relationship.
I want to go back to you talking about being a coach and network. So like, what were some skills that you're able to take from being a coach that you're able to implement to being a CEO?
Sure. Well, just getting people to execute upon your vision sometimes. I'm good in many ways, and I like to think that I'm intelligent and smart, but not always. So you oftentimes have to defend your viewpoint, and you have to be prepared to defend your viewpoint. If you feel strongly about something, or you want to make something happen, you've got to be able to sell that. So that goes back to that sales realm as well. But as a leader, you've got to do that as well, and you have to get people to align with what you're thinking, and really kind of fall in and believe in what you do. As a coach, that's exactly the same as well. So as a strength and conditioning coach, I use the analogy of when I was working in soccer. It was very difficult, especially with some of the older athletes that I worked with, getting them to embrace resistance training. They had come from this world where, hey, all I really need is agility training, and I need to be able to run far, and I need to be able to have some explosive training. But then talking about the ability to actually, be strong in your body, helping you prevent injury and lengthen your career, specifically with South American soccer players, and then doing it in a second language as well. You've got to be very inventive on how you approach things, and dynamic in how you communicate with everybody. And I think that transitioned and translated really well into my role as a leader now, where I've got to sell what I want. I've got to be dynamic in how I explain it. And then I've really got to be firm in my convictions and beliefs in how we execute upon that.
As a leader, how are you able to share your vision and making it in a way where your team members can hop on board and realize that how they can be a part of the vision as well?
For me, I get very excited about what I do. I'm very much a person who's passionate, and I kind of wear my heart on my sleeve. So I'm very excitable on things. So I just approach things with passion, and I kind of pray and hope that passion is infectious and really gets other people excited to be able to do it. Going back to that coaching world again, we always talked about being in the energy business. We create energy. We help people manage that energy and everything else. I take that directly and apply it to my leadership role as well. I bring energy into what I do. I try to breathe energy into our company, and I try to get people to match the energy that I'm putting into the company and into my initiatives.
So when you first started working here, you talked about how you started at sales, but did you ever think that you would be going from sales to being a CEO?
Well, I mean, so certainly there's the family component. So there was always that chance. And in the back of my mind, you go, could I run this one day? Would I want to run this one day? And I'm very fortunate to have had that opportunity, because it's something that was here. But I mean, I've got a very large family, and I've got an incredibly talented family. Many of my cousins and other family members are still working here today, and they're amazing as well within this company. My father is still an integral part of this company on our sales team and everything else, and he is the owner of the company at this point. So working inside that dynamic, it was always a chance, always a possibility, but I really was happy in what I was doing, and I just found that I'm a person who likes to look at what the next evolution is going to be. And I think that always suited me well for a leadership role, because a good leader's looking, they're firmly grounded in the present. They understand the past, but they're really with an eye towards the future all the time. And you're always looking at what could be next for this company. So I think my mindset set me up for it more than my actual, I've got to be this, or I really want to do this.
When you had a chance to have the opportunity of becoming the CEO, why did you take that?
the ability to make a change and to affect the change. Like anybody, I also have an ego, right? And you want to put your stamp on things. And it was an ability for me to take, an 80-year-old, or at the time, a 77-year-old, 76-year-old company, and make a positive change for it, and hopefully set us up for future success for decades to come. So putting my own personal stamp a little bit on what we do. And I think that each one of our, 4 generations of leaders has been able to do that in their own way. So just wanted to be a part of that.
So as a tech company, how have you been able to evolve, like especially like with AI coming into play?
We embrace it. We just look at AI and we say, all right, how can we best utilize AI? So we work in the bid world, as an example, quite a bit. And we do a lot of public sector work. We do a lot of public sector business, both in the K through 12 marketplace. We work to integrate technology into classrooms at schools and stuff like that. Also state and local government agencies, town halls and things like that. A lot of those public monies are required that you bid on them in order to be a part of that project. So from AI, we actually utilize AI to help us parse through those bids, make sure that there's things that we're not missing, make sure that the project actually is aligning with what our company's mission or values are. And that's very helpful. We embrace AI as a force multiplier as well. We're a small company. We are about 85 people right now, and we can't do everything. So when we need a little boost to something, we utilize AI to help us make things a little faster, a little bit more efficient. And we're fortunate enough to have people who are really, really intelligent on some of the LLM models who can write some excellent AI prompts for us. And they really have set our company apart in what we're able to do quickly and efficiently on some of our design work, some of our initial responses to bids, as we talked about, but also to a request for design or quote.
So I know like the bid world is really competitive. So like, how are you able to separate your company from the others that are trying to get these projects?
Well, partnership, certainly. The longevity that we have, we've got a great advantage in that most people within the Commonwealth of Mass and many people in the state of Connecticut have worked with us in the past. And, whether it's on the voice side for telephone systems, maybe on the security side for IP cameras or card access, or whether it's on the AV side where we've done conference rooms or classrooms for them and integrated technology into those spaces. We've got a great name and again, 80 years to fall back on. So looking at all of that, we've been able to leverage a lot of that referral-based business to kind of help set us apart, because people go, oh, Valley, yeah, you guys did a telephone system for us and you did a great job. And yeah, we'd love to give you a chance at the security work or something else. We also, we've got incredibly intelligent people. So yes, we do bid work. It's a percentage of what we do, but it's not all of what we do. We're a very big design house as well. So we are, first and foremost, a design build house. So what we like to do is get embedded early and often with general contractors, electrical contractors, technology consultants, and the owner, whether it's the school, a business, and we try to have that, again, that business conversation and the technology solutions conversation early on. Having that conversation from the ground floor helps to set us up for future success and really helps to differentiate us in a world where sometimes all people are looking at is a number. If somebody's got a positive taste in their mouth from dealing with us on a design build side, we're able to use to parlay that into future business.
What has been your biggest challenge that you faced so far in your career?
I really just making different transitions for me. So transitions are always hard for anybody, but moving from one world into the next, early on, that was definitely a challenge. But just the learning, coming into different positions, different roles, different areas without knowing a whole lot about it, and having to really grow into the role. So you have to embrace, again, I embrace that network that I'm very proud that I've built a decent network and the people around me who've helped me there. I also embrace the methodology or the kind of mindset of being a lifelong learner. You can never really stop. And, I am very proud to say that there's a whole lot that I don't know, and I continue to strive to learn. So I think challenge-wise, it's jumping into the unknown, but that excites me too, I guess, at the same time.
Yeah, I can definitely like see how that uh, feels for you because for me, I'm just like transitioning into working on selling ad space inside my magazine.
Hmm.
And like that's been like my biggest struggle. Like last year at this time, it was more being confident, like doing the interviews and public speaking. Now it's more getting into being able to become a better salesperson. So from you, when you talked about you went from a coach to going into sales in this company, how were you able to make that transition?
Really just
Mhm.
through hard work, through learning, diving into what I do, and just using the people around me. The relationship side is the most important piece for me. So jumping in and understanding, hey, who can I align with at this company? When I made that initial transition, whether it was cruel or not, or maybe a proving ground or a test, part of my job, our sales manager gave me all the distressed accounts.
Mhm.
So anybody that maybe we had not done our best work with, or whatever else, people who were slightly upset with what we did. And like any business, there's always going to be people who are unhappy, but
Mhm.
we obviously work to make them happy. So my job was to go in, build a relationship with them, and help to turn those accounts around.
Mhm.
And whether it's people who haven't worked with us for years, or whatever else, but we come in and kind of build those. Jumping right into that crucible was a great way to help like force that
Mhm.
transition a little bit, because you're kind of getting all of the things that people struggle with, saying no,
Mhm.
approaching a problem, conflict resolution. Those are difficult things for anybody, especially a leader, to deal with.
Mhm.
Having to jump into it and learn how to do it from day one is really it's really a test.
You talked about your first task was already going after like the hardest clients that you had to be able to get. So what was the strategy that you were able to use since that makes you become good at sales?
I just tried to be kind, honest, transparent, and open with these people, and I listened. It's, hey, I would ask a lot of questions. I mean, a lot like what you do. I mean,
Mhm.
yes, you're doing this in a podcast format, but exactly what you're doing is kind of what my sales strategy
Mhm.
is. It's come in, ask somebody questions about themselves,
Mhm.
ask them questions about their business,
Mhm.
and then ask them questions about what their needs are to improve that. And you know, it's all about being inquisitive, again, embracing that mindset of the lifelong learner, and somebody who is genuinely curious, and honestly going into it with the mindset of, I really just want to get to know this person and understand their business, is really, it makes the job fun as
Mhm.
well.
So like for you, like what are some goals that you have for this company in the future?
Oh boy, can't give all the secrets away. So for the company, I'd certainly like to see us grow in
Mhm.
terms of size, in terms of people, but also in terms of the scope in which we're able to provide to our clients.
Mhm.
So yes, we've got voice, but can we do more around the voice side?
Mhm.
We do AV very well. Can we build more services around that?
Mhm.
And then the same thing on the security end. And then how do we get those three departments to really work interchangeably better together? Right now, we are three divisions of this company, but we're actively in this transition now where we're really trying to create a much better mesh between all three of those groups, so that we're sharing clients, we're sharing experiences, we're sharing lessons learned, but we're also growing as a company in that. So you always want to obviously grow your revenue, and you want to get larger as a company. We employ, over 80 people in Western Massachusetts now, and I want to continue to grow that. I want to be a staple and continue to be a staple in Western Mass and in the greater Springfield area.
Mhm.
So knowing that we can be contributing to the economic viability of the region is incredibly important to me. And then really just keeping Valley's name out there as a major player in the technology integration
Mhm.
space.
Going from a coach, I think this is cool. Like going from a strength coach to a CEO. What has been like your favorite moment in like your journey?
Favorite moments in the journey. Well, I mean, I think the interpersonal
Mhm.
interactions that have continued. I was very afraid going from that coaching world
Mhm.
into sales and then into leadership of, am I still going to get to be that coach? I've got all this great training and this great learning of, how to communicate and how to work with people and how to drive success out of
Mhm.
people. And I was thinking in my head, I was like, how am I going to really be able to do this in the sales world? I mean, yeah, leadership, there's always that dynamic of
Mhm.
coaching, but that's been the most fun part, is understanding that I can still be that coach, that teammate as well for a lot of people in this company to help people grow. I can be that stepping stone for them, and we can work together to really develop, grow, and make each other better. And that was one of the things I loved about the coaching world. It was one of the things I was most nervous coming in here, and it was a pleasant surprise to find out that it's something that I was able to continue to do in this role.
I'm going to read my book, I Am a CEO, Realistic CEO, and then I'm going to ask you a question after reading the book.
Okay.
Everyone has a special dream that can change the world. What's yours? That's the book.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
I like that.
So, Tony, he talks about LBW, the long, lonely, boring work.
Yeah.
Like, can you tell us about the LBW that you do inside of your career?
None of it's boring. I love it now. There, the email response, the day-to-day just grind of what we do can be really difficult. And it can be a lot. And it's important as a leader, as a CEO, as anybody that you are, to not lose sight of the big picture. So we all talk about the little things that you do that make a huge difference. And that's incredibly important. But as a leader, it's important for all of us to remember that while those little things can be challenging, they can be boring, they lead to that bigger vision and they lead to that grander kind of step down the road. So for us, it's keeping an eye on what that big goal is, what that big vision is down the road, and doing all the LBWs to make sure that you're stepping up into that. And it's hard every day, and it's a grind every day. But when you look back after a month, after a year, after 3, 4, 5 years, and you look back, wow, okay, I've accomplished this, I've done this, and it's because I put all that work in on the little stuff to make it happen.
So everybody always talks about hard work being like something that they got to do. But my dad, I got to give my credit to my dad. He was able to, he broke it down and turn it into 5 types of work. He studied a whole bunch of successful people like John Sartino from Vermont Teddy Bear and all of his mentors. Everybody talks about hard work being like what you need to know. But my dad, he's actually able to break this down into what it really is. And it's 5 different types of work. In the book, Tone, he talks about all 5. So first of all, can we talk about hard work? You kind of talked about,
of course.
So what is like the hard work that you do every day?
Hard work that I do every day it's that day-to-day grind. It's the stuff that I'm not good at that I always realize. It's some of that, it's that detail-oriented stuff that really takes you to the level, it builds something grander. But in the moment, it's just like, why am I doing this? That's that hard work. That's that grind for me. And hard is different for everybody in their mind, but that's one of the harder things for me to accomplish on a day-to-day basis.
So the next type of work is teamwork. So how are you able to use teamwork?
Teamwork is the easy one for me. I mean, I have an amazing team here at Valley. We have a company president, Joshua, who he and I were like in lockstep on everything that we do. We're a partnership and we talk to each other. We communicate with each other. We have an amazing team around us to build a great company. So we rely on each other. We listen to each other and we grow together.
There is working right. So how are you able to work right?
I talked about one of the importance in our sales strategy, but just also in everything that we do. It's being honest, being transparent, and doing the right thing. We are not a company that's afraid to say no. If we see a client making a decision in a conference room that's going to cost them more money than it needs to, or maybe they're not spending those funds in a what we would perceive as the best way possible. We're going to either back out of the project and say, hey, you know what, this probably isn't right for us. We're not the right people for you, but let us know if we can come back and help you down the road. Or we try to advise them on a different path. We say, hey, I understand you want to spend all this money on this really cool, neat technology that's out there, but it's unproven and it's not quite there yet. We have great experience here and we can deliver a really good experience for you in this realm, and we try to move them into something that's a little bit, maybe not as advantageous price-wise for us, but it's the right thing to do because we have good, long, tried and true results with some of that product set or the solution sets.
So the next one is working smart. How are you able to work smart?
Well, you have to prioritize what you do. I mean, for me, it's for me, for the team, and this is a lesson for the whole company, is there's so much work to do in every single day, week, month, quarter, year, everything. But we have to economize our time. We have to manage our time, and we have to do the best we can. Whether it's, people have all different strategies, block it out in your calendar, whatever else, but utilize your time effectively towards the things that are going to, one, make you a better person and a better employee, two, or a better teammate as that. And then two, that are going to make the company better and that are going to help, further our goals as a unit.
And then the last type of work is networking. So how are you able to implement networking?
Oh, that's the easy one. Again, I love the networking piece because I just try to get out as much as possible. Get out, meet people, be inquisitive, learn, and that has served me very, very well. People really love to talk, and people especially love to talk about themselves. And when you give somebody the opportunity to do that, you have a great chance to learn, because chances are they've been through these amazing experiences in their lives. You don't necessarily know where they came from or how they did it, but taking the time to learn and understand that story, one, it humanizes them and it lets you understand them and bond with them on a human level, but also it helps you just build trust and build a true relationship with that person that you're speaking with. And that's how I've worked to build my own network.
So for you talked about how this was you came into a family business. So how does that feel to know that you're able to not only come into a family business, but now you're able to be the CEO of your family business?
I'm incredibly proud. I mean, my grandparents were truly amazing people. Both of them are now passed away, but what they built and what they did within this community. We started on State Street in Springfield in 1945, and then we moved to Bay Street in Springfield. And now we're here in Chicopee, where we've been since the mid 1970s. And to carry on that legacy is a tremendous point of pride for me. And I just hope that they're looking down from heaven and are very proud of what we've been able to do as a company and carry on in terms of their legacy.
We talked about the hard stuff. You talked about what was most your journey that was most exciting for you. But what has truly been the most the thing that you've done so far in this company that you're the most proud of?
I think for me, it's been that unification. Working together with Joshua, who's our president, we've been able to do a really good job of creating really effective ties between our different divisions in our company. And it's a continuing journey. It's never going to end. And we're always going to have some degree of separation, but learning to put these people together, building effective teams, and really raising up the employees and people that we have working with us to higher levels and making them better.
I just have one more question for you. And it's, what's one fun fact about yourself that nobody really knows?
Oh, man. I don't know. I'm kind of an open book, so everybody kind of knows things. I would have used the coach thing. I don't know.
All right.
I am a terrible pool player. I cannot play pool, billiards at all. I'm a disaster at it. And I like to do things, obviously, that you're good at because it makes you feel good. But I'm absolutely horrible, so I try not to play.
I just want to thank you again for coming on. I truly learned a lot from you. I know the audience did as well, so thank you.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. And thanks for taking the time to learn a little bit about me and Valley.
Appreciate you. And I want to thank every single one of you for all the support that you have shown me in this past year, my journey of becoming the Realistic CEO. So ways that you can support even more is by going onto my website, www.realisticCEO.com, and ordering your copy of the Realistic CEO book, as well as your copy of the Realistic CEO podcast magazine. And the way that you can support even more is by going onto the donation section on the website and donating, which when you donate, it allows us to go into schools and give away the Realistic CEO book. See you in the next episode. Peace.